He sees a lot of things in me that he can't stop. You know, not only does he see speed, does he see power, but he sees a lot of heart in me. Now I'm the one who has the power. Now I'm the one. Canelo said he doesn't fight. He fights for greatness. He fights for titles. Well, let me go pick up all the titles and let's come back into the table.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In a recent interview, David Benavidez opened up about his hunger to prove himself, saying he still hasn't been given the kind of opportunities that truly showcase his talent. "I've been here for 11 years, he said. "I know my time will come. I stay motivated because I believe I can be the best." His message was clear: no setback, no delay, and no doubt can shake his passion for the sport. His drive remains unshakable, his focus laser-sharp, and his belief stronger than ever.
I just want to tell everybody, if you guys doubt me in anything outside of the boxing, never doubt my character, never doubt my competitiveness. You know, I have the spirit of a warrior, and I'm, extremely excited to show you guys against all the best fighters in the world what I'm really made of, because this is what I'm here for. This is my destiny, and I'm not going to.
Benavidez also made it clear that his commitment to greatness is absolute. Nothing, he said, can stand in the way of his ultimate goals. "Everyone knows I'm brave," he declared. "I'm determined and willing to fight anyone to earn my respect in that ring, with unshakable confidence and relentless drive." He reaffirmed his mission to become one of the best boxers in the world, ready to face and conquer every obstacle that dares to stand in his path.
The thing about me and David Benavidez' stock, we have a lot of great fights on the table. And you guys know I'm going to take every single one of them. I'm not going to run from anything, because at the end of the day, this is my destiny. If it's my destiny to go through these hard fights and win these world titles, that's what I'm going to do. This is what boxing is about. I'm sick of seeing fighters getting the easiest fights just because they're getting the biggest paychecks. Like, it don't. At the end of the day, it's not even about money. It's about giving the fans of boxing the fights that they deserve. They're paying the money at the end of the day, so let's go to war. Let's do what these people want to see us do, and let's go to war.
In the same interview, David shared that his ambitions have burned bright since he was just a kid. He said he's pushing himself every day to reach his goals, believing that through hard work and by defeating top-tier opponents, he'll eventually rise to the very peak of the boxing world. Benavidez stressed that his focus isn't on empty talk, but on staying composed, disciplined, and dedicated to his craft. To him, real greatness is measured by achievements, not words. He added that his greatest victory will come the day the entire boxing community recognizes and celebrates the work he's poured into his journey.
A man that's not going to let anything outside the ring, mess with his game. Since I was 3 years old, I've had one dream only. That's becoming the greatest boxer of all time, and that's exactly what we're going to accomplish. Yeah, we're almost there, and we're going to keep going until there's nobody left to say anything.
David Benavidez didn't hold back, claiming that Canelo Alvarez is afraid to face him in the ring, saying Canelo has repeatedly dodged the fight. According to Benavidez, Canelo knows exactly how dangerous he is, recognizing a level of skill and power that's tough to handle. He pointed to Canelo's struggle against Dimitri Bivol as proof, saying he exposed his weaknesses against bigger, stronger fighters. Benavidez added that while Canelo dominates smaller opponents, he hesitates when it comes to facing someone with real size and strength, someone like him, because deep down, he fears the outcome.
The way I've seen him handle my presence is he's definitely scared of me. If you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the.
Furthermore, David said that if the fight had happened earlier in his career, Canelo might have had a real shot, back when he was still learning and beatable. But now, Benavidez believes he's become an obstacle too great to overcome. He stressed that Canelo finally understands his power, skill, and determination, which makes the matchup far more dangerous. Confident in his growth, Benavidez said he's ready to prove himself on the biggest stage. His record, he added, already speaks for his excellence, but his ultimate goal is to elevate it even higher by dominating every challenge on his path to the top.
Fight with me way back then, because if he had a chance to beat me, it would have been back then. He has no chance of beating me now, especially now. I'm getting all this confidence. I'm come stepping into my prime. I'm able to deal with these bigger shows better. You know what I mean? I'm able to thrive in these shows. I'm able to, every time I fight, I'm always winning by a significant amount. You know what I mean? So I'm learning my craft better and better each and every single fight. I'm gaining more confidence every single fight. And like I said, I really want to go in there and hurt people. I'm not a boxer. I'm a warrior.
Furthermore, while discussing Canelo's recent loss to Bud, David praised Terence Crawford, calling him the greatest boxer of all time. He applauded Crawford's incredible accomplishments, feats most fighters only dream of but never achieve. Benavidez described Crawford's ring performance as a pure masterclass, showcasing total dominance and flawless technique. He highlighted how Crawford faced huge challenges moving up in weight, yet conquered them with remarkable composure and determination. Not only did he climb 3 weight classes, David noted, but he also defeated one of this generation's best pound-for-pound fighters, silencing every doubt along the way. By embracing the challenge and triumphing, Crawford cemented his legacy as one of boxing's true greats.
I'd like to get your thoughts on Crawford's performance against Canelo, because he beat you to it. What do you think about how Crawford did?
First of all, I just want to give Terence Crawford a great congratulations. He's reached a part in history that only so many fighters get to even accomplish in boxing. He's one of the greatest of all.
Most notably, as David Benavidez continues to call out Canelo Alvarez for a fight, veteran trainer Ronnie Shields has advised against it. Shields believes that now might actually be the right moment for the Mexican superstar to consider retirement. He praised Canelo's career as nothing short of legendary, filled with greatness, iconic moments, and achievements that have already secured his place in boxing history. He has nothing left to prove, Shields said, adding that it would be wiser for Canelo to step away on his own terms rather than risk another difficult or damaging fight.
And right now, I don't feel he should fight anymore. Look, he had one of the best careers any fighter could ever have. He's done everything he set out to do. What's next? To prove what? He has nothing to prove. He's already proved everything. And I think right now, the door is closed. He should shut it himself and say, you know what? I've had a great career. That's enough is enough.
So Benavidez fight doesn't catch your attention at this moment?
Moving forward, it's worth remembering that Ronnie Shields had already predicted Crawford would defeat Canelo even before the fight happened. After the match, Shields broke down exactly why his prediction came true, explaining that Terence's speed was simply too much for Canelo to handle. He pointed out that Crawford's unique stance and versatile fighting style became his most dangerous weapons, perfectly exposing Canelo's flaws inside the ring. Shields highlighted how Bud's tactical brilliance allowed him to capitalize on every weakness, turning the fight into a masterclass in control and execution. In the end, he praised the bout as a flawless showcase of skill, precision, and boxing intelligence at its finest.
Unanimous decision. You got that. I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. Too many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looked for one shot now. The end is near for Canelo. And I just think that Crawford was too fast for him, especially in the southpaw position. We all know Canelo have problems with the southpaw. So, and that's why I picked Crawford. I just thought Crawford.
As previously mentioned, while Ronnie Shields advised Canelo Alvarez to retire, Oscar de la Hoya disagreed, stating that the decision should be entirely up to Canelo himself. De la Hoya suggested that if Canelo feels ready to step away, retirement would be a respectable choice. But if he decides to continue, he must be strategic and selective with his opponents at this stage of his career. Reflecting on Canelo's recent loss to Terence Crawford, De La Hoya admitted that Crawford's power and precision were simply too much for him to handle. He praised Crawford for once again proving why he's considered one of the best, showcasing his unmatched ability to read opponents, adapt his tactics, and completely neutralize any fighting style that comes his way.
So we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure them out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford, and I really don't know where.
Furthermore, after reflecting on Canelo Alvarez's career, Oscar de la Hoya also shared his thoughts on Terence Crawford's future. He noted that Crawford's confidence has soared following his recent victory, giving him even greater motivation to keep pushing forward. Discussing Crawford's potential weight classes, de la Hoya stated that it's unlikely Crawford will return to 154 pounds, as he now seems more comfortable competing around 168. However, if the right opportunity presents itself, Crawford has hinted that he might consider dropping down to 160 for the right fight. Looking ahead, de la Hoya suggested that one of the most exciting and marketable matchups on the horizon would be a showdown between Terence, Bud Crawford, and Virgil Ortiz, a fight that could captivate fans worldwide and further cement Crawford's legacy.
Crawford at 160. Imagine that. Would be incredible. So there's a good possibility that Crawford will stay at 168. Most likely go down to 160. I don't think he's going to touch 154. I think he'll stay at 160 eventually and try to find the biggest fights possible. And the biggest fight for him.
Another major voice, Dan Rafael, reflected on how the early rounds of the Canelo versus Crawford showdown felt razor close. He pointed out that Crawford not only planned the battle but executed it perfectly, ultimately toppling Canelo. Rafael praised Crawford's sharp mind and clear vision, both leading up to and during the fight, calling them nothing short of spectacular. He noted that many had doubted Terence before, believing Canelo's size and experience gave him the upper hand. But Rafael highlighted Crawford's relentless focus, discipline, and unbreakable will, the very traits that earned him that hard-fought, well-deserved victory.
I thought it was close. I had Canelo ahead in the early going, but I thought Crawford did an amazing job closing that fight down in the last few rounds, where he really started to back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was a brilliant performance, and what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him and said, forget about it.
Furthermore, D and Rafael shared that while a rematch between Canelo and Crawford would no doubt electrify fans, it might not be the smartest move for either fighter. They felt both men should explore the many huge opportunities waiting for them at this point in their careers. Rafael advised Canelo to think deeply about the pros and cons before locking in his next fight. On the flip side, he said Bud's triumph over Canelo earned him tremendous respect, drawing interest from top-tier fighters ready to test him. Still, Rafael warned Crawford to weigh divisions, fight magnitude, and title stakes carefully before choosing his next challenger.
Bank, and then to the Hamza Shiraz. I mean, those types of names. He's got mandatories. Mabili got the draw tonight in a great fight. There's other fighters that have belts and interim belts and blah, blah, blah. So, nobody's going to rush Terence Crawford into his next fight. He'll take his time, and, whatever the next fight is, it's going to be a big one because, his name is even greater now than what happened going into this fight for him. So he beats Canelo Alvarez. It becomes a much...
Everyone agrees that Canelo Alvarez has built an extraordinary legacy. So, let's take a moment to truly appreciate what he's achieved in his remarkable journey. The Mexican icon has carved out one of the most decorated careers in modern boxing, capturing world titles across multiple weight divisions and rising from a teenage prodigy in Mexico to a global superstar. He cemented his name with victories over elite opponents like Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, and Sergey Kovalev. Each triumph showcased not just his lethal counterpunching, but his adaptability to any fighting style. Canelo's brilliance on boxing's biggest stages turned him into one of the sport's most beloved pay-per-view sensations. Now, let's hear how Shane Mosley, respected worldwide for his skill, discipline, and relentless drive, described his unforgettable clash with Canelo.
Years old. He had a lot of experience, I should say. He had a lot of boxing experience at his
That
age.
had 40,
I
50
was,
fights?
huh?
He had 40 or 50 fights at that point, right?
40, 50 fights, but not just that. I'm talking about experience as far as knowledge about being the real, like, experience. You know,
Okay.
like veteran experience. Like
Yes,
he
yes.
knew how to counter, he knew how to block and counter, knew how to do different things. So
That's
it wasn't
good.
like he was just an ordinary fighter. And I was like, and fighting him, I'm like, wow, he actually knows how to, like, get away from stuff. He knows how to counter. He knows how to, like, trick shots up.
Furthermore, Canelo's two epic battles with Gennady Golovkin, where he proved his mettle and earned championship glory in tightly contested wars, stand among his proudest milestones. He went on to etch his name in history as the first undisputed super middleweight champion, defeating Caleb Plant and unifying all 4 major titles. Beyond the belts, Canelo has always embraced dangerous challenges across multiple weight classes. Fearless and driven, his career reflects both endurance and excellence, an artful mix of technical precision and the warrior spirit that defines Mexico's boxing heritage. These triumphs have firmly secured his place among the greatest fighters of his era. Crawford's gesture of returning the belts to Canelo after defeating him only deepened the respect he's earned across the sport. Meanwhile, David Benavidez has risen as one of boxing's most feared super middleweights, combining raw aggression with unmatched power. At just 20, he made history as the youngest ever to win the WBC World Championship twice. Benavidez showcased his dominance by toppling top contenders like Anthony Dirrell, David Lemieux, and Caleb Plant. As he continues to build a powerhouse career, many now view him as the future king of the 168-pound division. Let's take a closer look at how he reacted after defeating Anthony Dirrell. In summary, after the unforgettable clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, the boxing world is buzzing with anticipation about what comes next. Some fans and analysts are already calling for a blockbuster rematch, while others believe both warriors should chase fresh challenges. The debate over their next moves has become one of the hottest topics in the sport. With David Benavidez openly calling out Canelo, many argue that this long-awaited showdown needs to happen, given its huge appeal and fierce competitiveness. Yet, there are voices suggesting that Canelo should consider stepping away from the ring, preserving his legacy rather than risking further defeats at this stage. The ultimate question now lingers. Should Canelo Alvarez accept David Benavidez's challenge, or walk away to protect his storied career? And after Crawford's stunning victory over Canelo, who should stand across from him next? Would you like to see him take on rising stars like Virgil Ortiz, seasoned 160 or 168-pound champions, or perhaps another mega fight against a top pound-for-pound rival? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think.